Hey guys, Raven of Ash here. After the last episode, I made some invasions with the Hadri cosplay that I wanted to show you guys. However, I felt like they were not that different from the Horus cosplay I did. It was basically a guy with a great sword and a medium shield. On the other hand, the Hawkwood and the Horus builds were very simple, and I wanted to do something a bit more complex. So I decided to do something different. Tom Peridone suggested a while ago that I should do a Pyro cosplay, and so I chose to do a variation of the Livid Pyromancer Dunnel at soul level 125. So this guy is a Dark Pyro. The backstory of this guy is that he's the eldest brother of Livid Pyromancer Dunnel, that specialized on Dark Pyromancy. Pyromancer Dunnel was killed so many times by hosts and their parties that he gave up on invading, even writing a post on Reddit complaining about the state of invasions, and now only plays unranked Overwatch. Knowing this, the Dark Pyro decided to step up to the plate and decide to hunt hosts to make fun of his baby brother at family dinners. I will now speak a little bit about the build. Usually I talk about it at the end of the episode, but I feel an introduction to the build before the invasions is necessary, as my decision making really has to adapt to the strengths and weaknesses of this particular build. Pyros are always very starved for stats at soul level 125, as you have to level both faith and intellect. This makes me commit much more points to both stats than a build focused solely on miracles or sorceries, and that's why I use the Prisoner's Chain to get me 5 additional points to Vigor and Endurance at the cost of diminished absorption. In order to have some survivability and to invest in other stats, I went 30-30 in Intellect and Faith. This will lower my overall damage though. That's why I decided to use 3 damage augmenting items: the Blindfold Mask that increased dark damage, Witch's Ring and Great Swamp Ring for increased pyro spell damage. Sage Ring +1 is there to increase casting speed. This takes me to other important point of the build, the armor, or lack of it. This character uses the Cornix set because that's what Dunnel uses, and the Blindfold Mask for that increased in dark damage. This puts my absorption at around 4% because of Prisoner's Chain, which is very low. If I get stun locked, I'm dead. Sometimes, if I get hit by an ultra great weapon, I'm also dead. I went for 40 Vigor to compensate for the lack of armor and 40 Endurance, as although the build consumes very little stamina, I have to roll a lot to avoid damage. Also, stamina is useful if you want to spam Black Flame for huge damage, as it is a costful spell stamina-wise. As for the spells, I'm using 4 in the final version of the build. Black Flame for close range, Black Serpents for medium range, and Black Fire Orb for long range damage. Tears of Denial is there to increase survivability. This means attunement is fairly high at 30 to allow 5 spell slots as well as a big FP pool. Dex is at 17 because of the Witch's Locks. Strength, Luck, and Vitality are at base level. I will speak about the weapons used during the invasions. Please note that not all the invasions you will see are with the final version of the build, because I had to tinker around for a bit in order to find the balance I liked. Now let's get to it. So this first invasion is against a solo host. There are 2 invasions in this episode that their purpose is to show the setup against easier enemies. So I'm looking around to see if there are more phantoms, and there are not. This guy's alone. So Black Flame usually guard breaks shields with ease, but you need to hit the shield dead center. If not, the stamina damage is much lower. Now this highlights one of the problems of the build. This build has very little survivability. This guy can kill me in 3 shots. So at this point I decide to go for the Witch's Locks. The Witch's Locks are a very good medium range alternative, and it's very good at roll catching if you don't know the time. The Witch's Locks also have a lot of range. Like all whips, the jumping attack I did here has like a roll catch thingy going on, because you have to follow the point of the whip and not the jumping per se. Now for the riposte, this is the only weapon I had in the slot, because you cannot take riposte with the Witch's Locks, because it's a whip. Now I change weapons again and I go for the Partisan, and this is an interesting combo, the Witch's Locks in the offhand and the Partisan on the main hand. So I'm always respectful of his weapon, because he can out-damage me and out-poise me. So I just hit and run. Here I make a mistake. I didn't think he would attack. Now I take some distance in order to heal and change up for the katana. Now I go for the charged R2. Nobody does a two-handed charged R2 in the katana except as a parry bait. And that's what happens. The timing is a little iffy, as with everything with pairing with katanas. They are not really good parry tools, but that's what I have in this build. So now this guy is Undead Hunter Charmed, and he rolls into me, and I know he's going to do a rolling attack. So I adjust, and my katana is faster than his exiles. So for the second invasion, I again find a lone host. First off, I want to see if he's good. Now I'm using the Winged Spear. The difference between the Winged Spear and the Partisan is it's basically its weapon art. Both work very well as spears and enable you to outrange your opponent. But the Winged Spear has this charge, which the Partisan does not, has a spin attack. Now I go for the Rotten Grew Spear. And the Rotten Grew Spear is infused with poison, and it can proc poison usually in around 4 hits, which is very good. So now this guy is poisoned, and I switch for the Witch's Logs. So this guy is getting a lot of damage, and he's just trying to out-heal the damage. Now I go for the katana again. I wanted to get the parry, but then he goes for Profane Ultra Great Sword. I'm not keeping a lot of pressure on him because I want to see what he wants to do. So now I don't respect his hyper armor, and I get damaged. And so I back up, I heal up, and I return to the fray. Now he starts going for jumping attacks, which are very easy to punish. Now he goes again for the jumping attack, and now I'm able to punish him. Now this guy about gave up, so this invasion was a fun 3v1. It's about verticality, Synthrai trademark, and managing the opposing party's aggro towards you. So not every time, but sometimes you really want to aggro the other party into making bad decisions. Now at this point I know that the host has 2 Sunbros with him, but I'm not really sure where they are. As I see this Sunbro in the host, I'm getting kind of scared that the other Sunbro is coming up behind me. And as an invader, you always want to have the party in front of you. Now I'm not too afraid of this guy because he has an ultra great weapon which can easily be rolled on reaction, and I sort of willed him to jump down. Here I almost killed the host with Black Flame, but now I take a lot of damage from the Sunbro. Now the Sunbro goes for the charges R2, and I'm really trying not to jump from here. I wouldn't take any damage, but because I'm wearing the Silvercat ring and probably they are not, I have to preserve this advantage of fighting up here. So at this time I want to cast a Blackfire Orb, and this is a tip for all casters. So I'm locked on the Sunbro, but at the last instant I change the lock on to the host. And a lot of times hosts don't have upgraded shields. And pyromancies do a lot of stamina damage, so you can get a lot of easy repos this way. Now the Sunbro goes for the Charge R2. The Charge R2 has amazing range and it's very good for roll catching, but only if you panic roll. If you don't panic roll, the Charge R2 is not that scary. The third guy, he came around and he's going to try to flank me. So I know that I won't have a lot of time. So I throw some Black Serpents and then I face Greatsword user. Now I don't want to fall down because I will lose some verticality without damaging them. I could have ended the yellow life here, but the other ones came around. Now this frame is important because it shows me that they don't have the silver cat ring on, so I can use that to my advantage. This was really scary because I had lost track of the greatsword user. That would surely pop my tears of denial. So now the whole party is very aggroed on me, and I really want them to jump, to try to plunge attack me. But I just circle around and make sure that they are really aggroed, and then I jump. Now they all follow me, and this guy, he just has very little H point left, and the other guy also jumped, so he's dead. So this guy is not healing, so he's probably doesn't have any more Estus. So a 3v1 becomes a 1v1. So at this point, this guy is clearly panicking. He's starting to make very bad decisions, and I'm able to plunge attack in R2 here. Now it was just a matter of following him to this room while he's trying to summon the other phantoms, and now he's dead. Now this is a very simple invasion about free gaming. I'm not very good at free gaming pyromancy. I never practice it that much, but because I'm used to throwing bombs and throwing dual charms, this is a good thing that casters have, especially pyromancers, as this is much harder to do on sorcerers or miracle users because their projectiles don't do this kind of arc. So this was a fun invasion against a very good host, actually, Drexdog. But this guy got far away from the pack. He uses the R1, R1, R2 that everybody uses nowadays. And also he has the lightning arrow. So I'm just trying to use the Black Serpent to get some damage in. I go for the R2 here, but this guy is a good player. He's being cautious, as he should. But now I two-hand my weapon and try to go for the parry, but I know he's going to do the R1, R1, R2 again, and so I'm able to kill him with the katana parry. Actually, for me, katanas are probably the worst parrying tool in the game. They are really hard to master and require you to previously to the parry to sheath your weapon. So face tank parries are very hard, if at all possible. Um, Setup parries are impossible. The only real advantage is that you can do a lot of mix-ups. So if you have your weapon sheatheded, the opponent doesn't know if you're going to parry him or if you're going to do the weapon art R1 attack. But as parrying tools go, I don't like to use them. So I find the rest of the party, and this guy just wails on me because I unlocked. I tried to do a black flame turn and burn, and the lock-on failed. So now I'm going after the host, and this guy knows how to play. He knew that I was coming for him. So at this point I'm getting fairly low on Estus. But now I have some information. I know that the White Phantom is not a very good player. He's just resorting to running R1s and R1ing the Exile. So now I know that another invader is in the world, so I'm not very aggressive towards the party. I'm keeping my distance from the host because I know that this guy is probably watching me. So I don't want to get turned and burned. This guy is probably the good invader as well. So at this point I'm doing a lot of damage to the white, but I disengage because the host is probably watching over him. Now I get to a safe distance in order to get my Ashen Estus. Now again I'm doing a lot of damage to the white, and again the host comes back to save him, but the purple was able to kill him. So probably these guys are using Flynn's build, especially the katana user. The host is using a flamberge, and you can tell this guy knows how to play. I'm using the Black Serpent as distraction while I try to get some damage in, but the katana's running attacks, at least in this build, don't do a lot of damage. But this guy does. He can probably 3-shot me, and I'm not using Tears of Denial. This was an old version of the build. And now I'm out of Estus, so I really need to be careful when engaging the host. This guy is using his flamberge very well. He's using the R2 weapon art, which can do a lot of damage and has a lot of poise. So this guy clearly knows what he's doing. A lot of times when I'm invading, I get a lot of fun from watching weird builds or different ways to play the game, and this guy has been very fun to watch. Now at this point he finally gets the purple. The R2 weapon art can poise more or less through everything that the purple can throw at him, and he can also do a lot of damage. Now I'm trying to capitalize on the host being so low, and I go for a running attack, and I just get him before his hyper commences. I really need to be careful with this guy. Now he's using the Iron Round Shield to negate my katana's running attacks. Now a lot of times people that start using a shield, they want to go promptly for the parry, but not this host. A lot of time parry spammers can be punished by a backstab, but this guy isn't falling for it. Now he's two-handed with flamberge again. This guy is doing the same mix-up. Either he R1s and then goes for the R2 weapon art, or then he tries to turn and burn with the weapon art. So the katana isn't doing a lot here, because its moveset doesn't have a lot of range. So I go for the Witch's Locks. And the Witch's Locks start doing some damage. The host went for the Dark Moon buff. Now I really don't want to get hit by that. So now this guy wants to pressure me into panic rolling. But I know what he's trying to do, so I don't fall for it. So at this time I'm really capitalizing on the range advantage here. I don't need to do anything different, he needs to adapt. As long as I keep my distance and my spacing correct, he can't do nothing to me. Now I take out the bandit knife in order just to do some damage and to tell him that he cannot go for that strategy again. I won't get a lot of damage, but maybe I can inflict bleed and that will get some pressure on him. And here I do the weapon art twice. It's a different pattern than what I was doing I was doing just the weapon art once. Here the host goes for the L1 wiggle in order for me to panic roll, but I don't fall for it. Now the host is probably getting low on Estes, and he decides to change his tactics. He switches for a dagger and an all iron shield. And I take out my dagger and I do 3 swings. Usually you cannot parry 3 swings from a dagger, but it depends a lot on latency. I'm actually not sure how many swings it's safe to do with a dagger, but I only did 3. Now because he's going for short range combat, I go for the Black Flame. And the host is banking on the fact that probably he can attack me while in between my Black Flame attacks. And that's not true. If you spam Black Flame, there's no weapon that can outspeed you. This guy was a really good player, but against this setup there's not really anything that he could have done better. So thanks so much for watching, guys. This video is already a bit too long, so stay tuned for the next part of this episode.